Dr. Joe Lewis was a fixture on the campus of Georgetown College for 24 years. He was a Religion Department faculty member from 1968 to 1980 and also served as chair. Dr. Lewis was then Vice President for Academic Affairs from 1980 to 1992. His love for students and his joy for teaching also led him to service at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, Cumberland College, and Samford University. Having earned a PhD in Hebrew and Old Testament interpretation and venturing into an academician's life, Joe Lewis was always a pastor at heart. An ordained Baptist minister, he was a mission pastor, ministry consultant, and teacher in residence at churches in Missouri, Indiana, Kentucky, and Alabama. While at Georgetown College, Dr. Lewis was director of the Pastors Institute. Joe married Shirley Ann Gilmore on May 23, 1959. After 56 years of marriage, Shirley Ann Lewis passed away July 20, 2015. Joe and Shirley had 2 sons, Paul and Paige. They were blessed with 4 grandchildren. Following the death of Dr. Lewis' first wife, God brought a new Shirley into his life. Joe married Shirley Robinson in January of 2016. They live in an American Baptist retirement center in Fresno, California.
I have been so blessed with so many people who have influenced my life strongly that it's very difficult for me to single them down to 1 or 2. One of the first ones who was tremendously important to me was Owen Sherrill, who was my pastor at the First Baptist Church of Charleston, Missouri. Owen Sherrill was a trustee at Southern Seminary, but he was my pastor, and it was he who mediated God's call to ministry to me. Another person at Charleston, Missouri, who was a tremendous influence in my life was Frances Hill. The lady who took me in, gave me a place to stay, became my adopted mother, and taught me the meaning of true grace. And if I have to limit it just to a few, another person of tremendous influence to me was William E. Hull. He was my first New Testament instructor, and I'll never forget those lectures in that first semester of seminary that Dr. Hull gave. He later was part of the Georgetown Pastors Conference one year, and in later years he was my boss at Samford University, where he served as provost. Well, obviously the great faculty that was here when I got here were those who influenced me the most. They're the ones that I worked with, the ones that I knew best, and they certainly were of tremendous importance in showing me what it was like to be a good teacher and a scholar. President Bill Elrod, of course, stands out because it was he who invited me to become an administrator, which I'll remain for the rest of my working career. So I'm indebted to Dr. Elrod for his choice of me. Well, I've sent a check every year, that's one way, but I have stayed connected to Georgetown College primarily through students that I had here: Carolyn Hale, Carolyn Cubbage now, Dwight Moody, Dave Stansel, Bob Baker, among many, many others. As I've watched their careers over the years, I'm continually connected to Georgetown College. That's an easy one because B.A. Sizemore, who was on the faculty at Georgetown College, was a dear friend of mine from seminary days. It was he who recommended me to Georgetown when he left, and I'm deeply indebted to B.A. over these years. So sorry to lose him so early. Obviously, that would be with students who are gathered here tonight. Watching their careers over these years has been a strong reminder of my Georgetown days with them. What is my hope and prayer for Georgetown? Well, my prayer is that the great tradition that links Georgetown College to the past will continue to shape the young lives and enrich the future generations of students with its power. Thank you so much for having me here.